What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well so far today. And let's talk a little bit about a fringe roster guy for the Seahawks that is turning some heads so far in training camp. I've been wanting to talk about this guy a little bit for a while now because I was hoping that one of the guys at this position would start to assert themselves as being at least the best out of what we have. I'm talking about inside linebacker, and I'm talking about V. Jones. So, V. Jones, he's played a little outside, he played a little inside, but when I think of V. Jones, I think of him as an inside linebacker, and it looks like this team is starting to kind of feel the same way. So we're going to talk about V. Jones in that context. You look at the Seahawks roster right now, inside linebacker, obviously we're better than we were last year. We are. Bobby Wagner's back, and he's way better than anybody we had last year. Even with age, even with everything that comes with age, I feel pretty confident saying that. I don't think we're getting an all-pro level linebacker in Bobby Wagner, but what we're getting is way better than what we had last year. I got no problem easily acknowledging that. And then after him, you have Devin Bush, who I think is a reasonable bet to be the second inside linebacker and the starter in the 3-4 defense alongside Bobby Wagner. So that stuff, all fine. I feel fine about it. I'm not saying I think Devin Bush is going to be great, but I think he can be pretty good. I think he'll do his job. I don't think he's going to make a Pro Bowl or anything, but I think he'll be all right. And he's not going to be on the field 100% of the time anyway. He's going to be on the field maybe 65% of the time if I had to guess. Jordan Brooks, we don't really know what's going on there. I'm going to continue suspecting that he's going to miss the whole season or most of the season. Simply put, they said the timeline was similar to Radigan, and Radigan missed a whole season, so I don't know why Brooks wouldn't miss a whole season. So, to me, Brooks, they're acting like something else could happen, but to me, Brooks is kind of off the table this year. It's just the timeline wouldn't really make sense if he's able to play before late December, early January. So, put him off the board for a second here. Take Jordan Brooks off the board. Once you get past Devin Bush, it's a mess. And it's a mess in multiple different ways. It's a mess in the sense that none of these guys have really proven themselves to be anything noteworthy. And it's a mess in terms of I don't know who our next best guys are. So I was hoping that somebody would start to separate themselves from that group to become at least a quality depth piece or a workable depth piece for the 2023 season. And so far, it looks like that guy has been V. Jones. So let's talk about him and wonder what we can maybe get out of him. So understand that even though Bobby Wagner's been very durable his whole career, it would probably not be a good idea to count on having him for every game in a 17-game season when he's at the age that he's at with the mileage that he has. And also understand that Devin Bush has already had his career kind of derailed by a major injury that we now hope he's starting to bounce back from, which that kind of remains. We're going to have to see. Like, it's been a long road coming back for Devin Bush. But counting on those guys to be there for you in every single game this season, probably not a good idea. So you've got John Radigan, who nice to have around. He's been quality as a special teamer. But I haven't seen any reason yet to believe that he's going to be the inside linebacker next man up behind our starters. And then you have BBK, who I think would be the guy if he's 100% back from the injury, but is he? We don't know. There's no way to know yet. So while we're kind of waiting to find out a little more about those guys, it's been this guy who's starting to really step up here. He's moved past, in my estimation, BBK. Moved past John Radigan, moved past Onujiogu if you want to throw him as well. So V. Jones has been turning heads in training camp. We got this article on screen by Corbin Smith. I'm not going to go through the whole article in this video. If you want to read it, go to the SI.com Seahawks page where Corbin Smith posts all of his articles. And he kind of runs down some of the things that V. Jones is doing to turn heads. He's making plays out there. He's moving around well. He's added some weight without sacrificing too much speed. He looks like a different guy. And the Seahawks certainly have a little bit of a history of doing well finding linebackers kind of in the later or even UDFA rounds of the draft. I mean, Bobby Wagner himself was a second-round pick. I know that's not a late pick, but if teams had a second chance at that 2012 draft, Bobby Wagner would easily have been a top 5 pick. Guys like KJ Wright, fourth round pick. Even if you want to go back further than that, guys like Lofa Tatupu and Leroy Hill were kind of passed over. They were not highly sought after guys. And Malcolm Smith, by the way, I know he only really had a good month and a half as a Seahawk, but it was an incredibly important month and a half. That guy barely got drafted. So is V. Jones next in line? Because we've kind of been swinging and missing a little bit at the linebacker position lately when you think about it. Like Brooks, I don't think has lived up to his first round stock. Barton provided some decent moments, but overall probably wasn't worth a third round pick. And BBK, I mean, his story has not been written yet, but doesn't seem like he's going to be anything overly notable outside of special teams, where he is actually really valuable, but not as a defender. So V. Jones, and when you go back and you read the scouting reports on V. Jones from the year he was in the draft, obviously he didn't get drafted, but the year he entered the NFL, one thing that kind of stands out about him, one thing that people would say about him was that he had NFL caliber size and NFL caliber speed. At the time, he weighed like 230 or something. By the time he got to the NFL, he had slimmed down to 225. However, according to Corbin Smith and several other people, he has added about 10 pounds in muscle this offseason. So that would put him at 235, which is more than big enough to play inside linebacker in the current NFL. It's almost enough to play inside linebacker in the old NFL. So if this guy's 6'2", 235 pounds, and the weight he added is muscle, then that gives him a really good opportunity. I mean, we're already seeing inside linebackers start to be like 225, 230, in some cases maybe even 220. So the league is trending to these smaller inside linebackers. So V. Jones' size is no longer a concern. I think his 40 time was like a 4.65, which isn't crazy good, but it's NFL caliber. So physically, this guy can do it. You take a look at what he's done so far in his career, it's basically nothing. It's just some special team snaps. But last year, if you're saying that, oh, he was this size, he was basically brand new to the NFL, he hadn't really adjusted to the speed of the game, he hadn't really adjusted to the way the game works compared to college. In college, he had played at USC, North Carolina State. And you jump on over to his college numbers real quick here, you can see that there was no year where he really just was a dominant player. Last 2 years at North Carolina State, he had a total of 80 tackles, made a lot of plays in the backfield, was actually a part-time edge rusher. That's one thing that's kind of fun about V. Jones. He played inside and outside. I don't know if he'll be able to do that at the NFL level, but you can see over the last 2 years of his collegiate career, he was living in the backfield. 13 tackles for loss and 9 sacks over 23 games for not a big-time school at all where everything is just super easy for him. So the main reason why V. Jones didn't get drafted was just he didn't have that one standout season where he planted his flag and said, hey, I'm a guy who can get you 10-plus tackles a game. I'm a guy who can get you double-digit sacks. But honestly, for a relatively low-profile player, getting 6 sacks in 11 games, pretty dang good. And he's also apparently somebody who's going to at least provide value on special teams because he was really good at blocking kicks and punts when he was in college. So you got that too, but could V. Jones be the guy as we head into the regular season to provide some meaningful depth at inside linebacker? Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. Go Hawks.